So for first-time home buyers who are not familiar with the process, or maybe you've been like Aunt Sally, who's been in her house for 100 years and she now needs to sell and downsize into the first floor ranch style home, let me give you a general overview of what the buying process is, when we bring in the inspector, and what that looks like. So the first thing you'll do is talk to a real estate agent, someone like me. We'll have a plan about exactly where you're looking, what you're looking for. We'll talk a little bit about your budget, and we'll guide you to get pre-approved with a lender. Part of that process is we're going to go through the strategic buying plan, and in there we're going to talk about the different stages of buying a home. One of those stages is going to be going out and looking for a home. Once you find the home, you need to provide a level of protection against yourself and any thing that might arise from the home. And the way that we do that is bringing in a home inspector. So the home inspection will come usually a day or two after your contract has been accepted, after we negotiate all the terms and conditions of the contract. You will schedule a home inspection. What we do as a real estate company is we refer you to some local home inspectors. You also can go online and do your own research on, who's good, or get recommendations from friends or family, and you will secure a home inspector. The budget that you're going to want to do is somewhere around $500. It's going to be $350 or $400 on the low end and $650 to $700 on the high end. And you'll pay that right up front when you do the home inspection or when you schedule the home inspection. And then you'll meet the home inspector. Some home inspectors will have you meet them towards the end of the home inspection so that they can get in and do their whole process by themselves. You'll meet with them towards the end, and they'll go over a lot of the high-level things that you should be worried about, because most of the home inspection are things that you probably don't need to concern yourself with. But if there's certain things like double tapped breakers in the electric panel, or if there's sewer problems, or if the roof looks old, then they can walk you through that so you can visually see it. With the home inspection, it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours. And so that is a critical part of the home buying process, because when you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, you want to know that what you're buying is protected. And so that is a key factor in purchasing the home. Once you get the home inspection, in our particular contract, now everywhere is a little bit different, but in the contract we use, the home inspection language says, if the inspection is deemed unacceptable. Now, that was written intentionally so that it doesn't bind you to a specific dollar amount of repairs. It just says deemed unacceptable. So you could look at the home inspection and deem it unacceptable for any particular reason. And with that, you could get out of the contract if you're not comfortable with the home inspection. Most of the home inspectors are going to walk you through what those repairs might be, big or small, and will give you some kind of peace of mind if this is a good purchase, or if it's a home that they think it's a good purchase. With that, if you feel like it is acceptable to move forward, we can still take some of those items that were found in the home inspection and negotiate them. Sometimes we negotiate the seller doing the repairs. Sometimes we negotiate the seller giving you a credit for the repairs, or a combination of both. Maybe the seller will pay for part of it and the buyer will pay for part of it. But this way, we know exactly what needs to be done with the home because we have a qualified home inspector going through it with you. After that's all done, then we would write up a removal of home inspection contingency for you and move on to the next stage of appraisal and lending. So today I brought in a home inspector to talk to us a little bit more about some of the finer details of home inspections. Now, I didn't know Brian before he did a home inspection for me. I actually learned about him from another real estate agent who I said, hey, I have some home inspectors that I've used, but they're busy right now. Who do you use? And so another real estate agent says, I love to work with Brian. I introduced Brian to one of my clients. He did a home inspection for us. And the home inspection was very detailed. It was very easy to understand, but it was also his communication that I really liked.
Well, thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. Brian Dietrich, own Inspection Services CNY. Been doing this for 8 years. Um, I got a construction background. I've been in construction for about 30 years. Like Ben was saying earlier, home inspection is a very important part of the buying process. So um, it's always better if the clients are actually at the home inspection. Things tend to go better. Process seems to move along better. Um, as a home inspector, I personally like my clients there because I can explain stuff to them and give them pointers and tips and show them how their house works. And, it usually, calms any fears and makes the home inspection less stressful for most people. So that's what I like to do as a home inspector. You know, yeah, so my reports are very thorough, obviously, as Ben said. But I look for the major stuff. There's always going to be small stuff that comes up on a home inspection. You just want to, the way I present it to my clients is in a manner that doesn't alarm them. So that's one of the biggest things is try not to alarm your clients, but actually pointing out the major things and the stuff that should be looked at and repaired.
Brian, interesting. My first mentor, when I moved to New York and I was starting to build my real estate team, was a former home inspector. And he got into real estate. So I'm going to ask the tough question at the very beginning. Yeah. Do you ever see yourself becoming a real estate salesperson?
I do not. I do not.
I don't blame you.
I leave that for the professionals.
Yeah. No, that's great. If you could just explain to our audience a little bit, like give us the 30,000-foot view of what a home inspector does. And then we'll break it down and we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty.
So obviously, hence the name home inspections. Home inspector goes in, inspects a house. He tries to come up with, doesn't come up, but tries to find anything, structural wise. There's always going to be fit and finish and cosmetic things that always come up on a home inspection, but we're mainly looking for the structural stuff, roof, foundation, stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but it is easier to get a real estate license in New York than it is to get your cosmetology or barber's license. Yeah. Tell me, how easy or hard is it to get a home inspector's license? Because you have to have a license, correct?
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate how hard it is to get a home inspector's license?
I'd say probably a 6 or a 7.
Okay. Now, are you saying that because you just want to roll and get the younger group in here with the 6, 7, Brian?
No,
or are you saying it because that's really what the number is?
Pretty much what the number is.
Okay. I thought maybe you had some kids or grandkids and you wanted to highlight the 6, 7
we
for
always
them.
Want younger kids to come into this profession.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys getting older and starting to retire, so we need more young people in here. So
yeah. Okay, so the high overview is that you're just inspecting everything structural, mechanical. Can you give us some, from some of the nitty-gritty, what are some things that you primarily look for? Like when you go into a property, give us the big things that you're looking at, and then shrink that down a little bit to some of the smaller things. Like I know some of the home inspectors check every outlet, some of them check every window. Yep. But talk to us about the big things and then some of the smaller things that you do.
Yeah, the big things are going to be your roof, obviously. You want to, what type of shingle it is, how old the roof is. The more important aspect of the roof system is your attic space. So that's what you really want to see is if there's any moisture in that attic space, how the plywood under the shingles is, and how the framing inside that attic space is.
Is that your favorite part, is crawling up into these insulated attics?
That's usually the worst part because you get a little access panel in a closet, and you got to maneuver 12 different ways to get up in there. And a lot of times, people forget about that, and I have to move lots of things out of the way during an inspection to get up in there.
Yeah.
So,
And then what are some of the smaller things that you look for?
like cracked glass in a window, seal-failed windows where you see the fogginess in between. That's all cosmetic stuff. It can be repaired. You know, I do check every single outlet, and I do check every window because I used to install windows for a living. So that's one thing I do. But yeah, I go through everything right from the roof down to the foundation, everything in between.
Yeah.
And I also do commercial inspections. I don't know if you knew that, but I do commercial inspections as well as lead, water quality, water flow, septic dye tests, and I do radon as well. So.
Yeah. That's great. Talk to me a little bit about some of the myths around home inspection. Like, I know there's a myth that home inspectors don't want to see the parents at a home inspection.
Yeah, well, they show up, obviously. They want to do right by their children, So when the dads show up, I hand them a beer and say, "Welcome to my tour for 2 hours." No, I really don't hand them a beer. But no, I let them know that I'm there for their kids and, keep all his questions till the end, and then we'll go through everything because parents tend to drag on the inspection longer than it needs to be. So.
What about the buyers themselves? Do you invite the buyers for the whole inspection, or do you ask them to come towards the end?
I like my buyers to be there pretty much the whole inspection because I can talk to them. I can explain things to them. If they don't come to my home inspection, they look at my report, they're going to have a lot of questions because my report's very thorough. It's got a lot of pictures in it. If they're there, I can explain it to them and kind of give them some ideas of how to resolve the issues that come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. Now, I don't know if you're ready for this, but I had some people send me some questions.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to pull this out. All right. We're going to pull these out. First question is, how long have you been inspecting homes?
I've been doing it for 8 years. If you're looking for a home inspector, the bigger question to ask him is how many inspections he does a year. Because there's some home inspectors out there that are part-time, and they've been in the industry for 20 years. And I'm pretty sure I've done more inspections than them. So, the fact that you're in the business longer doesn't really mean that it means you're a better inspector. It's just...
Would you say that's the same about the real estate agents that you met? You could be in the real estate, you could be licensed for 5 years and do 100 transactions per year.
Yeah.
Or you could be licensed for 25 years and do 5 transactions per year.
Yeah. Same thing, It's all numbers.
Yeah, your experience that
Yep.
you have in your background.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've been licensed for 8 years, a big construction background from that. A question that we have is, how long does a typical home inspection take?
So usually between an hour and a half to 3 hours. If it's a really big house and it's got outbuildings and stuff like that, it might take more. But usually an hour and a half to 3 hours. Anything longer than that, people get bored and they start to wander, and so I try to keep them on track.
Do you charge more to go into spider-webbed filled crawl spaces?
I do not.
No?
Nope.
Okay, that's good
I'm
to know.
not afraid of spiders.
So for all of my agent friends out there, if you don't want to get charged more, and I don't know if other inspectors do, but if we have another inspector on, we'll ask those questions as well. So once you do the home inspection, you send a report. Now, I've read these reports, Brian. Some of them, I feel like you need to have a PhD to discern the report. When you send a report to the buyer, do you offer any follow-up services with them? Do you have any kind of inspection consultation with the buyer, or how does that work after you do the inspection?
Yeah, I tell them if they have any questions when they read through my report, because there's a lot of information there. So if they have any questions, feel free to call me anytime. I'm always available. And I do offer, say they ask for something to be repaired from the home inspection. I offer a free re-inspect of those items as long as they're done by a qualified contractor. I really don't like to go back if they're done by the homeowner because, but if they're done by a qualified contractor, I offer to go back, take a look at it, make sure it's done, and I follow up that way with them.
So one of the common things that I've seen over all of my years of real estate and some of the inspections that we've done are something as small as a double tapped breaker.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really don't know all the details of what that is, but it's electrical, so it sounds scary. So if that comes up in a home inspection and the buyer has the seller fix that with a qualified contractor, you're saying you're willing to go out and make sure that double tapped has been single tapped or whatever the case is.
Yeah. Double tap breakers aren't as scary as, people make them out to be. It's just that they have two wires running to one breaker and they have a tendency to overheat. So
yeah, which sounds scary.
It
Brian.
does.
I mean, overheating wires sounds scary.
It does.
Yeah.
But it's something that can be easily repaired.
Yes, totally understand. I don't know how many home inspectors there are. I know there's about 1,800 real estate agents in our central New York market. About how many home inspectors are there?
Last I checked, there was like 720.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
And so where does most of your business come from? Like, how do you...
Referrals.
From clients or real estate agents?
A lot of mine come from former clients. It's probably 50-50. Former clients, mostly real estate agents.
Yeah.
I do have some lenders that, I get referrals from and some banks. But, mostly real estate agents and former clients.
Are all of your home inspections like pre-purchase home inspections, or do you do other type of inspections?
So I do pre-listing inspections.
What does that mean, pre-listing inspection?
So a pre-listing inspection is when a person's trying to get ready to sell their house, they'll have me come in and see if there's anything that's going to potentially be an issue during the process of selling their house. So it gives them an idea of what may come up on a home inspection.
Or if they want to make some repairs before they
Exactly.
put it on the market.
And a lot of times the potential buyer will use my report. So that way it just streamlines the whole process.
Yeah. Yankees or Red Sox?
Red Sox. I'm a Braves fan, but Red Sox.
Oh, Braves fan. Are you from that area originally?
No.
You jumped on the bandwagon in the 90s?
No. I've always been a Braves fan. I don't know why. It's just...
Yeah. I grew up as a Cubs fan because I grew up in Nebraska.
Okay.
And so we had WGN.
Yep.
And so I grew up with Harry Carey.
Yes.
So if you ask me who's my favorite baseball player, I'm going to tell you Harry Carey. I don't know if he ever played baseball or not, but you can't get that sound out of your mind.
You can't.
And the lips and the glasses are iconic.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I have a disdain for the Braves. So if I would have known that, I probably would
wouldn't
have
have
found
invited me
another
here.
inspector
Yep.
to interview. But
Well, I'm sorry, Ben.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. But we're in baseball season, so that's why I want to ask. I figured you were a Yankees fan, but it's nice to know that you are not a Yankees fan, so we can be friends here. What sets you apart out of the 700 plus real estate or home inspectors? I'm sorry. What sets you apart, Brian, out of the 700 plus home inspectors in the area?
It's my background. A lot of home inspectors, they sit through the course. They're taught in a classroom. A lot of them don't see all the ins and outs of the construction industry, and so I think that sets me apart. And then, like I said earlier, I'm one of the only inspectors that'll go back and reinspect at no charge. So that's two of the things that kind of set me apart from other home inspectors in the area.
Yeah. In your perfect world, how many home inspections do you do per week?
In my perfect world,
Yeah.
I would love to do 10 a week.
Okay.
But,
So is that 2 per day, 5 days a week? Or do
Yeah.
you want to work a Tuesday through Thursday schedule?
No, I'll work 7 days a week if I need to. Pre-COVID, I was doing way more than I'm doing now. But I was doing 3-a-days back then. That's tough. 3-a-days,
Long days.
it's a long day. So
Yeah.
2 a day would be fine.
Yeah.
But
So I know home inspectors carry a lot of liability. And so I hear a lot of like check with a qualified contractor. I read that in the home inspections. So I'm not going to put you on the spot too much,
Yep.
but we do have bright lights and this is being recorded. So this could be used against you, Brian.
yes,
What I want to know is in this current market,
Yep.
buyers are waiving inspections left and right, and they're going way over asking price.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a buyer that felt they had to waive an inspection? Is there anything that you can say, hey, look for these things, or watch some YouTube videos on what to look for? Like help our buyers out that, and I know the buyers want home inspections because they want to, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Right.
but they also want the home.
Exactly.
And so the mindset is, well, I need to do this, otherwise I'm not going to get a home. But what could you tell a buyer that needs to waive the home inspection, or feels like they need to waive the home inspection, Brian?
Well, if you can get someone to come with you on a walkthrough, whether that your uncle, a home inspector, for the 15 minutes or half hour, as much as you can get in the house, that would help before you put your offer in. You can always do a inspection after you purchase the house, but that really doesn't help you. But it'll give you a peace of mind of what's actually going on in your house. But yeah, just be informed. Some things you want to look at. Electrical panels. There's certain electrical panels out there that are faulty and should be replaced. Know which ones they are, and walk in the basement, look at the electrical panel, and see what brand it is. Look at the roof, see what you think of it. If you look up and you see issues, then there's probably issues.
Yeah.
Just be a informed consumer, and do what you can to get the house, but there's always ways to have somebody come in and look at it.
Sure. And what would you tell the real estate agent who's trying to guide these buyers to make wise purchases if they need to waive a home inspection? Is there any advice you could give to the real estate world that would help myself and my colleagues guide these buyers a little bit better?
That's hard. That's a
Like, is there a course that realtors can take that where we can have like the basics of a home inspection? Now, I have a construction background. My dad was a plumber.
Right.
I did some construction growing up, and so I know some of these things. I've managed a big construction projects in previous jobs. But for the agent that either starts right out of high school or college, or is a second career that knows nothing about construction, which, out of the 1,800 agents in our market, or the, thousands and thousands across the country, there's a lot of agents have no clue what a sill plate is, or a rim joist, or double hung windows. Like, they just don't know these terms. Right. Is there anything that you would say, hey, a real estate agent should get some basic knowledge on a home inspections, or any information you could give us with that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one would be to actually go on a home inspection with your client, because you're going to get all that information. My home inspections, I like to inform people about their house. So There's a lot of information there, and they can learn a lot of things from a home inspection walkthrough. But yeah, you want to know the basics of a house. You want to know what the roof is. You want to know how it's constructed. So yeah, YouTube videos on house construction would be very helpful for real estate agents. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you should start a service called the Tag Along Inspector, where you bring real estate agents and you charge them per question. Like, man, you would make
I'd be a rich
bundle.
man.
You would be
I
a
would
rich
be
man.
rich
I'm gonna
man.
hear you per question, and you just have one of those clickers,
Yep.
cha-ching, 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 and then they might just shut up a little bit and just watch you.
Yeah.
But that would be a great little service if you start that business. I wouldn't mind a little kickback.
Okay,
You know,
I got you.
The
Sounds good.
you'd make some money. Hey, Tammy asked me to. Tammy gave me a couple questions for you.
Oh no. Oh boy, here we go.
Boxers or briefs?
I can't say what a commando.
Whoa, wow! I don't know. You guys can't see, but the crowd behind me just their
went
jaws
nuts.
dropped. Wow!
Sorry,
Not behind
guys.
me, behind
Sorry,
the
guys.
cameras. Wow, commando. That's great. Work boots or flip flops?
Flip flops.
Okay. Drag race or NASCAR?
Drag.
Drag race, huh?
Yeah.
Drag race.
Drag race. Yeah.
Drag race. Okay. Best wings in Syracuse?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm still trying to find a really good. I'm from Buffalo, so I have a hard time finding really, really good wings here. But the Gathering Lounge used to have awesome wings. I know it's a
Oh.
little bar
Yeah.
in Liverpool, but they had one of the best wings.
Favorite agent to work with?
Ben Gray. Sorry, Tammy.
Checks in the mail, Brian. Checks in the mail. Hey, any questions for me as a real estate agent and you as a home inspector?
I have no questions for you. I just appreciate, that we can get together and chat like this.
Yeah. Have you ever won Home Inspector of the Year award?
I've won Affiliate of the Year.
Affiliate of the Year.
Yes, I have.
So that is from the Association of Realtors
It
in
is.
Central New York, and that's an award that goes out to somebody in the industry that's not a real estate agent, correct?
Correct.
And how much did that cost?
That was free.
That was free. And so who votes on that? Other home inspectors, other affiliates, agents?
It's nominated. You get nominated by your peers, so either home agents, people in the industry,
Yeah.
and then it's voted on by the board. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's great. That is out of 700 plus inspectors, plus all of the other affiliates. That's a pretty
Yeah.
big honor, Brian.
Yeah.
You should be real proud of that.
I am.
Yeah, that's a great.
Got my
thing.
plaque right on my desk. So
Yeah. And so your desk is not the pickup truck. You have a
no,
legit
I
office.
actually have a legitimate office at my house.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
but that's my second office. My pickup truck is. So,
Yeah. Real quick, I want to finish with this, and this is serious because this is going to affect the landscape of home purchasing
Yeah.
and home inspection. So there is a bill in the Assembly and the State Senate, and they passed it in Massachusetts, where I originally got licensed in Massachusetts back in 2009, and they've passed a similar bill where home inspections, they're not mandatory,
Right.
but every contract has to allow for home inspections.
True.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
And so what do you think about that from a seller's standpoint, a home inspector standpoint, and a consumer standpoint? I'm guessing you're for it, right?
As a home inspector, I'm definitely for it.
Yeah.
As a buyer, I would definitely be for it. Seller, you should, as a seller, I would assume that you would be for it, but you may have some hesitation there because, A lot of people don't really like when your house is picked apart by a home inspector.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that comes up on a home inspection that, you know, people don't actually know about or see. So, but yeah, I think it would be a good thing for the industry. It would alleviate you guys from having all the pressure of, you know, selling a house and have something go wrong without having a home inspection, and the consumer comes back on you guys.
Yeah, I think it is a really good thing because home inspections are important. Again, you don't need, the way the bill is written now, and it could change, buyers don't need to have home inspections,
Correct.
but every contract is going to offer a 10-day window, which I think 10 days excessive personally.
Yeah.
I think that's too long. I think it should be 5 or 7 days. I think that is adequate to get a home inspection done in our market, at least.
It is.
So I think if everybody had the option, whether the buyer wanted it or not, I mean, to be honest, I go into some homes and generally, I'm not going to stereotype, but usually they're owned by somebody from the military and it is pristine.
Yes.
Like I would say, if you're going to waive a home inspection on something like this, that is just, there's not anything out of place. But in this bill, I think it would give buyers a little peace of mind that, you know, they can do a home inspection. And honestly, Brian, we tell our sellers home inspections are good for them because it layers a level of protection between them and a future lawsuit. So we sold a house and the buyer had a home inspection. The day of closing, after they closed, the buyers were moving in. And they started ripping out some paneling from a basement wall.
Right.
And behind that paneling, there was some discoloration. We know what that is. It's mold. And the buyer was trying to attempt to sue the seller. And the attorney said, well, did you have a home inspection? They did have a home inspection. And they said, well, if the home inspector didn't find it, how, you know, it's going to be real tough to point that the seller knew about it. And so I think if you are a seller, do not be scared from a home inspection. I mean, you know, most sellers that we work with, at least, they're good people. Most sellers they're good
definitely.
people. They don't want to pass on a hazardous home to somebody.
Correct.
You want to pass on something that, you know, going to be cherished as much as they've cherished it.
Exactly.
And so if we tell our sellers, welcome the home inspection because it's not a bad thing. If something comes up, we just work through it. Yeah. We just negotiate it. Maybe we make some repairs. We deal with the buyer and what they want to do with it. So I think it's really good to have home inspections. I understand that people are waiving them because, you know, they want to get into the house. Yeah. But I would love to see more of them because I think it's good for the industry. I think it's good for the consumer.
Yeah, so. It definitely is.
Any final thoughts, Brian?
If you're looking for a home inspector, do your due diligence, you know. All home inspectors aren't created equal. Many of them offer different services. So just do your due diligence. You know, we all have to follow the same guidelines, but the way that it's presented is the biggest thing. So
yeah. And how should people reach out to you? How can they find you other than searching, you know, best home inspector in Central New York or something?
They can find me at my my Facebook page, Inspection Services CNY. I do have a website, which is same, Inspection Services CNY. You can always contact me at 315-409-6554.
And who's the worst home inspector in Central New York?
There are no worst home inspectors.
Okay. I know. Listen,
we're all good.
Home inspectors have a job to do, just like real estate agents have a job to do. Home inspectors have a job to do. But, you know, like you see a home inspector and you're like, I pray they don't blow up this deal. And listen, as agents, we do that. I mean, there's not one home inspector that it's just you always know like the home inspection can be a big deal.
It can be.
And, you know, you always work through it, but I didn't realize there was 700 plus home inspectors. Now,
Yeah, don't quote me on that because I don't ever look at that anymore.
yeah,
I just, but
yeah.
you know,
But there's more than like 5 or 6.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Well, honestly, I only know 5 or 6.
right,
I've been licensed.
right.
I've
So
been,
there's a lot of guys out there that just, do it part time and don't do a lot of home inspections.
Yeah.
Some older guys that just wanted to relax in life and thought this would be a good gig for extra income.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great. Thanks everybody for watching. My name is Ben Gray. You can find me at soldinCNY.com.